In today's lesson on the Hermetica, we're going to be covering the living cosmos. Now, you're going to notice that there are a lot of similarities between this chapter and the other chapters that we've covered already. And we're going to briefly cover the similarities and see if we can find some differences, a different perspective to look at. Now, once again, I'm not a hermeticist. I'm just shining the ancient Egyptian light on the knowledge that these scholars put together in this text, okay? So let's begin. The living cosmos, the primal mind, which is life and light, being bisexual, gave birth to the mind of the cosmos. The primal mind is ever unmoving and eternal and changeless, containing within it the cosmic mind, which is imperceptible to the senses. The cosmos, which sense perceives, is a copy and image of this eternal cosmic mind, like a reflection in a mirror. First of all, and without beginning, is Adam. Second is the cosmos, made in his likeness. As the cosmos is a second God, it is also an immortal being. And because everything in the cosmos is a part of the cosmos, it is impossible that any part of it should die. The cosmos is all life. From its first foundation, there has never existed a single thing which was not alive. There is not and has never been and never will be anything in the cosmos that is dead. Okay? I want to point that out. There's no such thing as anything in the cosmos that is dead. Adam is light, the everlasting source of energy, the eternal dispenser of life itself. Once energy has been dispensed, its supply is governed by the eternal cosmic laws. The cosmos has its being within the eternal energy from which all life issues. So it is impossible for it ever to stop or be destroyed. It is contained and bound together by the eternal life force. The cosmos dispenses this life to all the things within it. It has a twofold movement. Energy is infused into the cosmos from eternity, and it in turn infuses life into all things within it. Mind and soul are manifestations of light and life. Everything moves by the power of soul. The body of the cosmos, within which all bodies are contained, is completely saturated with soul. Soul is entirely illuminated by mind. Mind is totally permeated by Adam. Soul fills and encompasses the whole body of the cosmos. It gives life to the great and perfect living creature, which is the cosmos, which in turn gives life to all the lesser living creatures it contains. The cosmos is the whole which generates and nourishes the parts, like a parent caring for its children. It receives its supply of goodness from Adam, and it is this goodness which is the true power of creation. The cosmos is the image of Atom, and since Adam is all goodness, the cosmos is also good. And that is the end of that chapter. Now, let's talk about some differences and similarities real quick before we start our illustration. I think that for the illustration, I want to try to tackle this section here with the primal mind, which is life and light, being bisexual, gave birth to the mind of the cosmos. The primal mind is ever unmoving, eternal, and changeless. You see, a lot of people think of God as male only, and we all know that women give birth to life here on earth, right? And so that means that God is one with his feminine, the male and female is one. That's the Trinity. And one of the things I wanted to also point out is, let's see here, when it talks about life in the foundations of life and how everything is still alive and nothing is dead. So when we were talking about in our last lesson, the contemplate creation, to bring back our past drawing, where I showed you how the four religions keep us locked in this box, okay? And what happens when we pass on from this life? They put our body in a box and put it underground, all right? And that is part of the ritual religious things that go on this planet, you see, nobody dies. There's no such thing as death. We are here living a life experience. A life experience, okay? We are living a life experience on earth. When we leave our body, when we shed our body returns to the earth, and we are more alive than we were when we were embodied, because we are going back to our source light. We are going back into the spirit. It was life that created the material and not the other way around. So when you are talking to the spirit realm, you want to make sure that you are talking to the light, the part that comes from, I would say, recommend the sun, the light rays of the sun. Because if you talk to the dead, then you are talking to the mercury, the volatile spirits, which will want something in return for their services. So when you speak to the dead, you are speaking to the lower half of that soul that incarnated on this earth. And you don't want to talk to the lower half of the soul that incarnated on this earth, because that lower half of the soul is what was shed with the body when the alchemical separation of the spirit took place after the passing on from this life experience and going back to the source. Because there is no such thing as death. There is always life. So even the volatile spirit, the mercury of that person, the lower self of that person, still lingers in the dark realms. And when you use any type of mysticism to conjure and speak to these past loved ones, or I'd say channeled beings of energy, you have to understand that you are not talking to the higher side of light of that being. You're talking to the lower half of that being. It's just like if you are talking to someone that you meet on the street and they're in a bad mood, you met them on a bad day, you want to meet them when they're happy. You want to talk to, so when you want to talk to a loved one that moved on, make sure you're not talking to the version that you think is gone. Talk to the light that sent them here. The light that sent them here, and you will have access to the higher self of that mind, and you will gain wisdom. And how you know you're talking to the right spirit is the spirit will not ask anything from you. They will not ask of anything from you. If any spirit tells you you need to do something, you need to cease communication with that spirit, because that is someone that is in the darkness. So you want to make sure that you're not talking and conjuring what they quote unquote call the dead. Okay. Because this is exactly how that guy who was running around, going on tour with those things. We want to make sure that we do not play in the darkness. Do not play in the darkness. You want to make sure that you stay in the light. Okay. Now let's continue on with the living cosmos. As it was saying before, let's use this part here. Let's use this one here. We can use this one. So in the living cosmos, from our other past lesson on the being of Adam, we can even use this to point out how, Adam is light, and Adam is light, the everlasting source of energy. Okay, so we're talking about science now. We're talking about atoms. Everything comes from atoms, right? And that light just gets so much more bigger and powerful from the continued evolution and combination and pressure and all types of stuff going on that our mind can't even fathom. It's powering this entire universe. And remember how we went around and when we demonstrated how the atom continues to manifest and evolve in different ways, but continues to replicate and duplicate himself all over, and is a reason why we're able to move our body, because we're actually using the consciousness. We're using our consciousness to control everything and move about the cosmos and move about the world. In this world, in this lifetime, there are so many stars and star systems out there. So imagine this. We live on the one world where we're told that there is nothing else out there, and that there, you should only believe in Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, and you should only believe in Allah, only believe in, whatever. And you don't a lot of people don't realize that a lot of enlightened beings around the universe, around the cosmos, have their own religious beliefs, right? And we are still stuck here on Earth and have not figured out how to go into deep space and travel. But yet our fighter pilots are chasing these spaceships around Earth, and they're getting outmaneuvered. So maybe it's because, and we don't even understand, and we're only seeing this stuff on grainy pictures. Maybe it's because we keep thinking inside this box that Jesus Christ is the only way, when these other galactic beings know that Jesus Christ, who we call Jesus Christ, came here to try to enlighten us about our true self and true connection to source. So if we would have actually taken his true words and not remixed them to fit an agenda, we might be like the rest of the stars amongst the cosmos, because everyone in the cosmos who is traveling the different star systems understands that we are all connected to the source light of Adam. And when we recognize that, then we can join the rest of our cosmic family in the stars. But until we renounce our dark materialistic ways, we will not ever leave this planet successfully. We will not ever leave this solar system successfully. Because if we go and colonize Mars with these beliefs still, we will be enslaved by external forces all over again. We will be enslaved all over again. This is not how we get off of this rock. We have to ascend our consciousness and our understanding, and understand that we are already one with God. We do not have to bow and be in this box mentality, thinking that there's only a third dimension. Okay, this is why I drew it like this, because these religions want us to think that life only exists in the third dimension. That's not true at all. So let's go to our new illustration and see if we can try to unlock something different here. Let's talk about the bisexual nature of Adam. Meaning that, the primal mind, which is life and light, being bisexual, gave birth to the mind of the cosmos. So let's try to figure out how that's possible. Okay. So we're going to see if we could draw something different here. I'm going to just adjust this and see if I can. All right, here we go. So the primal mind being bisexual in nature. So how would that be possible? Well, if we have Adam, draw our Adam. And when we say Adam, we're speaking scientifically, right? Because truthfully, God's the creator of the universe. Name is not Adam. It's just a way of describing one angle, one aspect of the creator, right? Because every name is God's name, because God is in all of us. And we are already one with the creator. We just have to stop believing that we need to do anything special in order to accomplish that. So we have our symbolic representation of Adam. We can draw the swirling, and then we get here, okay. And sometimes I forget to draw the rest of this on these videos, and to make sure I don't forget this time. Okay. So we've got our Adam. So how is Adam bisexual in nature? We could represent this a couple ways, but one way I like to represent it is the same way that the Catholic and Christian church like to represent it. You see, this is stuff that was taken from Egypt, and what they did was they took the symbols and they just carved it up, distilled it, and combined it with their own source. Because what all you have to do here is use the Jesus fish, and you've got yourself a divine feminine within Adam. You see what I did there? That's all you had to do. Just like that, we've got ourselves a woman, a female. So, being bisexual in nature gave birth to the mind of the cosmos. So, let's give birth to the mind of the cosmos. So she gives birth. And if we really want to get fancy with it, see? Yeah, really want to get fancy with it. Gives birth to the mind of the cosmos. And we'll do this. Do it like that. Draw our mind. We've got our head here, got our eyes, and our Jesus fish, with our Jesus fish here, our Christian fish. Got our nose, we've got little angles here. All right. So now we've got our mind of the cosmos. So now we have Mary, as the Catholic and Christians would call it, a woman having a virgin birth and giving birth to the Son of God. Because what is this? What is this? In Adam, right? And what is our son? In Adam, giving birth to the Son of God. So some people might also call this, let me see, some people might also call this the generation of Isis, with Isis giving birth to the child of God as well. This is all knowledge that was taken from Egypt and remixed into something completely different. So what else can we get here? Gives birth, mind of the cosmos. The primal mind is ever unmoving, eternal, and changeless, containing within it this cosmic mind, which is imperceptible to the senses. The cosmos, which senses perceive, is a copy and image of this eternal cosmic mind, like a reflection in a mirror. So, what we have and we can keep going like that too if we want. And as you can imagine, this just continues to keep going. And Mary, you see, being bisexual in nature, Mary continues to be the mother of the sun, the cosmos. It doesn't stop. It keeps going. And you can see what's happening here, right? Now we're building out a sphinx. Now you understand why the Sphinx in the pyramid is an image of the heavens. Why the Hermetica said Egypt is an image of the heavens. Because it literally is. We can prove that. And what you see here the knowledge was just taken from Egypt, and the capstone was removed. The capstone was removed. So you still think the Son of God was called Jesus? Now we understand how a religion is born. When invaders come and raid the temples and the sites of a country and excavate everything they find inside and take it back to their home country, and then they apply it and decide, you know what? I'm going to win this battle, and I'm going to say it was the Christian God that won this battle for me. And I'm going to convert Rome to Christianity. We're going to kill off all of the Christians that know this knowledge. And we're going to convert everyone to the Roman Catholic, the Roman Christian version by the sword. And we will make them think that the true Son of God was crucified on a cross. That will be the story. That will be the story. Commission a council to create this version and tell everyone that this is the truth. If you don't believe that, crucify them, slaughter them. We all have been living in fear of God. For what? For what? When the truth has always been in front of us. And now we know that what we've been told about Egypt has been a lie. They fractured our consciousness and didn't want us to know our true position in nature and connection to the cosmos. We've been given an upside down version of this, told to live in fear of damnation. Yeah, the devil himself. They want us to live in fear of God. Preaching a false word, telling us to look up and beg for mercy. Trying to scare us with the boogeyman. That's the truth. When there's no reason at all to fear God, to live in fear of God, because God is unconditional love. compassion beyond reason. But they gave us this false religion because they wanted us to be domiciled, domesticated dogs, animals, war dogs. That's all we know is war. They wanted us to be war dogs. And what do you see today? What do you see today? You see militaries blowing up cities, terrifying people who are just minding their business because they've got some beef with the government. No, that stuff is over now. Your time is up. And now we're exposing the truth. Because the truth is being unveiled. This is a true resurrection of Christ. This is the true resurrection of Christ. The Christ consciousness. Ta-da! The Christ consciousness is returning to people every day, and people are no longer accepting these religious doctrines and hate-filled policies and ideologies. We are embracing love. We are embracing love as the key. And so now you know how the living cosmos is responsible, how the living cosmos can even exist, and how the God being bisexual in nature can even create something like this. And now you understand what those symbols in ancient Egypt are actually representing, what the Sphinx, the pyramids, what they represent, and how they are a model after heaven. They are a model of the heavens. This is something that, how heaven continues to evolve and continues to, we're supposed to continue to ascend, but we're not doing that. We keep getting knocked down and sabotaged and starting over because we're getting put into a box. It's sad. It really is sad. And throughout time, we have been just coming back, living these karmic cycles over and over again. Not anymore. Not anymore. Because we see past the BS. We see past the BS. And we know that we are connected to the source. And this is my source of wisdom, my source of truth. I will continue to shed the ancient Egyptian light, the ancient Egyptian knowledge that we once taught everyone. You'll always see the Creator. You'll always see Adam in everything. If you just open your eyes, open your mind's eye, you will see Adam in everything. You will see the divine feminine in everything, and you will see yourself. You will see God in yourself, and you will see yourself in God. It's time to break out of that box that they told us to live in. We've been put to sleep. You know that story of Sleeping Beauty? The story of Sleeping Beauty, and the Prince Charming has to come and give her a kiss to wake her up. That's literally what happened to Earth. Earth was once one mind, one conscience. They were once united, but not anymore. This is what Earth has become. Earth has just become this dark, grunting, angry world. And people have forgotten to live in the heart. And so my goal is to bring that back. We're going to light it up. If you have any questions, reach out to me. That's it for the Hermetica and the living cosmos. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. And I don't know if you remember the 90s. They used to have these like baseballs with these faces on them, with the angry faces on them and stuff. That's what this reminds me of. The next lesson, we will be talking about the circle of time. So look out for that. I'll be talking about the circle of time in the next lesson. All right. Thank you.